Okay, let's dive into this. Picture it. UFC Apex. The lights are down. You know, that whole intense vibe.
Mm-hmm.
The pre-fight video for the main event is rolling. Blanchfield versus Barber. Big fight feel.
Huge fight. Number 4 against number 5 flyweight. Potential title eliminator written all over it.
Absolutely. The stakes felt massive. Everyone's leaning in, ready for the walkouts, and then just nothing happens.
Yeah, the walkouts just don't start. It was really weird live. You're all geared up. The commentary team's doing their thing.
Right. And then this, like, dead air almost. Brendan Fitzgerald, Laura Sang. You could tell they were scrambling, trying to figure out what was going on.
Totally caught off guard.
And then the official word comes down. Main event canceled. Just like that. Moments before it starts, reason given.
Yeah.
Maycee Barber not medically cleared.
And that's when things went from, confusing to properly dramatic. Because Erin Blanchfield, she was interviewed right there, cage side.
Yeah. And she did not hold back at all.
No. She straight up said, which she'd apparently been told by Hunter Campbell, the UFC CBO,
Yeah.
that Maycee Barber had suffered a seizure backstage.
A seizure. Wow. And Blanchfield's reaction to hearing that.
It was intense. She called Barber pretty crazy, pretty unprofessional.
Okay, unprofessional is a strong word right there.
And she didn't stop there. She said Barber was a complete mess in every aspect of her entire life.
Whoa.
Yeah. And that Barber needed to fix her life and fix herself. Just really raw frustration, very personal stuff you don't often hear like that.
And she made it clear, didn't she? Like, don't even think about booking this fight again.
Pretty much, yeah. Said she wouldn't want to book it again.
You can almost feel the anger boiling off her, right? I mean, think about it from her side. Full camp, done, travel, made weight, and then boom, potential title shot contention, win bonus, sponsorship money, all gone at the very, very last second.
Exactly. And to really get why this whole thing sparked so much debate, you kind of have to look at Maycee Barber's recent past. Because this wasn't exactly out of the blue in terms of her having health scares.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. What's the background there?
Well, earlier in 2024, after her fight before this one, she actually ended up in the hospital for 9 days.
9 days? Seriously?
Yeah, she called it a near-death experience. They suspected pneumonia, strep throat, even a staph infection. It was bad.
Near-death experience? That's heavy.
It really is. And then later, follow-up tests found she had an Epstein-Barr virus infection.
EBV. That can cause serious fatigue, right?
Exactly. Especially for athletes pushing their limits. It can just cause this extreme lingering exhaustion, messes with recovery. And apparently that's what happened. It kept her out for months.
Okay.
It even made her pull out of another main event fight that was scheduled back in July 2024.
So this Blanchfield fight, this was meant to be the big comeback. She'd said she was 100%, got the medical clearance late last year.
That was the story. That was the narrative going in. But then another layer gets added right before this fight.
The weight miss.
The weight miss. Came in half a pound over, 126.5. Her first time missing weight in the UFC.
And that costs her, what, 20% of her purse?
Yep, 20% penalty.
Okay, so let's connect the dots here, because this is where all the speculation really took off.
Absolutely. You've got a fighter with a recent history of severe illness, including that Epstein-Barr, causing major fatigue. She misses weight for the first time ever.
Which suggests a tough cut.
Right. And people online were already commenting on how she looked at the weigh-ins. The Skeletor comments you sometimes hear when someone looks really drained.
Yeah, harsh, but common.
And then moments before the fight, she's pulled, medically unable to compete because of a reported seizure.
So the immediate leap everyone made was, the white cut did this. The difficult cut triggered the medical issue.
That was the strong speculation online.
Yeah.
And it brings us back to Blanchfield calling her unprofessional.
Right. Was she saying the seizure itself was unprofessional, which sounds off?
Or was she saying the lead-up was unprofessional? Maybe pushing too hard after being sick, missing weight because of maybe bad prep or pushing too far.
Yeah.
And that led to the incident.
That interpretation makes more sense, especially with the fix her life comments. It sounds like criticism of the whole process, the preparation, the decision-making maybe.
I think that's how a lot of people read it. And then, to make things even weirder.
Yeah.
Hours after the cancellation, Barber starts posting on her social media stories.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That definitely fueled the fire online.
Totally. People were like, wait, if she had a serious medical issue, how is she posting? Were they scheduled posts? Was she actually okay? It just added more confusion.
And you saw that split reaction online, didn't you? Some people really sympathetic, pointing to her documented health battles this past year.
The EBV, the hospital stay.
And others siding with Blanchfield, basically saying, look, maybe she wasn't ready to come back, or the weight miss shows something is wrong with the prep, kind of questioning her readiness.
Yeah, it was really divided. Even someone like Daniel Cormier, he tweeted prayers for Barber's health, but also explicitly said he felt bad for Blanchfield losing the opportunity.
It just highlights how knife-edge this sport is. So much can go wrong.
And it really throws a harsh spotlight on that bigger issue that's always simmering in MMA.
Weight cutting.
Extreme weight cutting, yeah. It's this constant debate, isn't it? A lot of people see it as, well, dangerous. Some even call it barbaric.
Forcing fighters to dehydrate themselves so severely just to hit a number on a scale, only to try and balloon back up in 24 hours.
And when you see something like this happen, a last-minute cancellation tied to a medical emergency, potentially linked to that very process, it just feels like Exhibit A for the risks involved.
Did the discussion around this bring up any solutions again? Or is it the same old cycle?
Pretty much the same ideas resurfaced. Maybe weigh-ins earlier in the week, multiple weigh-ins, hydration testing, weigh-ins closer to the fight.
But the challenges are still there, right? Logistics, different commissions. How do you actually police hydration effectively?
Exactly. There's no easy fix that everyone agrees on or that seems foolproof in practice.
But man, the cost when it goes wrong like this, it's huge. Obviously for the fighters, health risks, lost paychecks, lost career momentum. That potential title eliminator spot just vanished for Blanchfield.
Devastating for both in different ways. But it also impacts the whole card, right? The co-main becomes the main, the broadcast changes, and the fans who tuned in specifically for that matchup are left hanging.
It really does sort of pull back the curtain, doesn't it, on the incredible pressure these athletes are under, the physical toll, the tightrope they walk with their bodies.
Yeah, just to compete under the current rules and structures of the sport.
So wrapping this up, you look at the whole chaotic sequence. Last-minute pullout, reported seizure, Barber's really tough year health-wise, the EBV factor, the missed weight, Blanchfield's unfiltered anger, and how it loops right back into this never-ending weight-cutting debate.
It really forces you to think about the system itself.
It really does. So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. What does an incident like this truly tell us about the extreme pressures these fighters are dealing with, the risks they knowingly take with their health for their careers, and maybe the bigger question, is the sport doing enough? Is the system itself doing enough to protect athletes from the dangers, especially those tied to practices like severe weight cutting? It's a lot to chew on long after the event itself is over.